Support WrestleTalk!
Be kind to each other in the comments. It might not have been a match against Jeff Hardy and losing in 2 minutes, but I guess it'll have to do. Malakai Black in his in-ring AEW debut in the main event of last night's Dynamite. Special name, Homecoming, because it was back at Daly's place. Squashed Cody Rhodes in 5 minutes. A bump through the table outside and a black mass with excellent presentation throughout. He looked awesome. Great entrance. Great performance. Yeah. What a debut. I'm Ollie Davis. I'm joined by Lukewarm Luke Owen. Welcome to the AEW Dynamite Review podcast. Please hit the subscribe button. It's the best thing to help support this channel. And if you want to go a little bit further, get an Ultra Chat and a Mega Chat in to WrestleTalk.com/support. We'll read out every single one of them over $10 before the end of the show. Dear God, $5. Just always trying to sneak it up a bit. Always. We've got 4 pages already.
Have we really?
Christ. I didn't think there was much on this episode. Also, before we get into everything, later on, we will be joined by new punk rants. The markiest of marks.
Legit. He's currently in the back end waiting to come onto this show to talk about the Juventud Guerrera match with Chris Jericho that opened this episode.
I can see he's reframed his shot so I can just see his chin.
Bearing in mind
he's Juventud Guerrera t-shirt.
He's filming himself portrait, so it might be why you can only see a chin.
But yes, we will talk to the great man himself who somehow manifested Juventud's debut in AEW through sheer ultra chatting alone. Right, first off, thank you very much to L Hicks 352 for becoming a member just there. Memberg, right up. You get loads of little exclusive bits. You get a little emoji next to you. You get to use emotes. You get a little badge next to your name, and you get to watch our podcast intro and outros, all specially for you. But let's talk about it. Malakai Black's debut in ring, that is. What did you think?
I thought this was great. Like, I wrote in my notes, you said it in the review as well. It was Brody Lee-esque in terms of Cody taking the loss. Because Cody, he got a bit of offense in a little bit, but this was all black. Like, this was all Malakai Black. He got the big, huge entrance. He got the big, massive presentation. And he looked... Malakai Black hasn't looked this good since he was in NXT in terms of like the presentation of him. There was no goofy trapdoor noise to maybe that really could have got him over with the crowd, like if they'd added that into the entrance. But he had this whole thing where it was like the lights go down partway through his entrance and come back up for other different points. He's got this brand new mask that he is wearing, and when he leaps into the ring and stuff, it was just an awesome presentation. And it was like they were putting over like his Muay Thai background that he has got, and he was like targeting certain parts. He targeted the leg, then just threw Cody off the top, so he went through the table. Cody just about got back in at 10, black mass, and that was it. I was like, when he hit the black mass, I thought to myself, Cody's not kicking out the black mass, surely he's not kicking out
for America.
Surely he's not kicking out the black mass. And he didn't. Malakai Black just put his foot on his chest and pinned him 1, 2, 3. It was rad, man.
I'll just also say thank you to Nathaniel Sunga, who just became a Memberg.
And
all
David
those good
Watts.
things will be coming your way. What? So many Membergs. Thank you all, to all of you. Yeah, but I agree, because there were 15 minutes left for this main event, right? That you have 15 minutes for entrances, which with Cody is, going to take about 7 of those minutes. And the match went 5 minutes. And I was like, okay, there's 7 minutes left of the broadcast. And then Cody gets in. I just thought the count-out spot was going to be a little bit in the middle of the match to transition into the final third. But no, that was it. It was done, because the remaining time was left for that Cody retirement tease promo. Just to say my bit on Malakai Black, I was a little bit concerned when he first showed up, because he's got the eye thing. And I was like, I'm not really into the supernatural stuff. I didn't really know which way was going to go with it, but seeing this here, it totally works in AEW's brand of psychological realism for me, where you can have horror stuff and it can be real, but you don't have this supernatural guffins that WWE so often dump over these gimmicks like that. Because you have that entrance, which I thought was extraordinary. I love that mask. I can't remember. Did you like Hereditary?
I thought Hereditary was fine. I have seen 25 straight to DVD horror releases that had the exact same plots. And that big, the reveal at the end, I was like, well, I've definitely I've done a lot of reviews of horror movies that have this exact same ending. So oh my God, it's Exorcist for a new generation. I'm like, you should have seen all the direct to DVD horror movies that I was reviewing in the mid 2000s.
But yeah, I liked it. And it gave me big Midsummer vibes as well. Of course, it's by the same director.
Midsummer was rad.
Midsummer was
awesome.
It gave me big vibes of those. So I was a very big fan of that, the presentation. Also, man, from the start of this episode, those little graphical teases for the main event, where it's Malakai Black on one side with flames behind him and a tree with Cody in front on the other side. But the tree is pristine, but it's burning on Black's side. I just thought, oh my God, Aleister Black or Tommy End, whatever you want to call him, has got to be all over this presentation. There's so much detail and thought that's gone into just the little match graphic. So I love that. But when it transitions into the actual match, totally agree with you. It was super realistic. And to not have those two sides of your character jar is difficult to pull off. So yeah, it completely satisfied me in both sides.
Yeah, I thought it was really, really, really good. I think it's a bit of a shame that the Cody thing. I mean, do you want to jump into the Cody thing now, or do you have anything else you want to add about the Malakai Black match? Fan of partsFUNknown, by the way, Malakai Black. He's been putting it over a lot on his Twitch channel. He even mentioned it on Talk is Jericho. He bloody loved El Fakador's video.
Yeah, but he didn't mention it on Dynamite, did he?
It's a bit of a different place to mention it on Dynamite.
He should have grabbed the mic at the end of the show and just gone, like and subscribe partsFUNknown. That's maybe that would have been really nice. No, just that I thought it was a great way to put over Black. A 5-minute win, strong over Cody like that. Very well done.
Yeah, so I thought it was so cool. It was one of the best presentations that they've done of a debut. And as I said, proper reminded me of the Brody Lee thing last year over the TNT title. Real strong vibes of that.
Well, because it's go big show time. Come on, Paul White. Cody is going to film the second season of that show on TBS. So this is the way to ride him out for a bit. And after the match, he got up and cut a 5-minute long sort of promo, very good promo. Cody's great at this, and teased retiring. He even took off one boot to leave in the ring before Black showed up, hit him with a crutch, and then left. And apparently after the show went off air, Cody Rhodes removed both boots, kissed the canvas, walked off. Now, I've seen people, a lot, to be honest, more people have enjoyed this tremendously. I took against it. What do you think?
I thought it was a very good promo, and I did think to myself, wow, I actually bought it. I'll be honest with you. Early doors, when Cody was talking about the promo, and he was talking about, Daily's places like the AEW Mecca and all this, that, and the other, and he was like, if there's going to be a better place to do it, then the time to do it is now. And I was like, man, Cody's actually retiring. Seems very left field for him to just be retiring now. But I was like, but clearly he's got some decisions. Maybe being a dad has changed him, has changed his mind. Maybe it's changed his perception on the way. Maybe he thinks that he's taking too much time away from the business side of things, so he actually wants to transition to that. Maybe he is just stepping away from the ring. He's just going to become a part-timer. And then Malakai Black attacked him afterwards, and I was like, oh no, it's an angle. And that's what took it down for me, because I'm like, why would you tease a retirement angle? Because that's a big thing. Because if Cody then doesn't finish up this feud and then retire, then why did you tease doing a retirement angle? It's a very Vince Russo thing to do. And it's not, and I think this is sometimes why people take against Cody. Because Cody, he has done a lot in AEW to try and put over guys, right? Like, Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara, MJF, Brody Lee last year to try and make him like a championship. Malakai Black this year, like he was doing stuff.
QT Marshall.
I think the Anthony Ogogo and QT Marshall's the only ones where I think are like, that's where Cody didn't really do that great a job of getting someone over, particularly poor old Anthony Ogogo. But he was trying to do it here with Malakai Black and make him look amazing. But then he does things like this where he's like, did it like, after the angle, does anyone now buy that Cody is retiring and he's just going to come back in 7 weeks? In which case it's like,
Did Rich make that come up just then?
It wasn't me.
I took against it almost from the moment Cody started talking, not from the bit where Black attacked him at the end. Although, in both cases, it's like, oh, so you're just teasing a retirement when if you're doing that and Black said it's actually an angle, then you're doing all this to set up a match at All Out or Full Gear. Like, retirements are... what's great about AEW is they make things feel really, really big. And to just chuck a retirement thing in there like this, I feel lessens that somewhat if you're just going to use it to build a match a bit down the line. And like you said, it came out of nowhere. It's not like this has been I know Black said that he wants to end Cody's career and stuff like that, but it's not been a huge part of this feud. But really, one of the great things about Brody's victory last year was how the focus was on Brody standing over Cody. Cody was destroyed. I feel like Cody getting up after being knocked out and then cutting a promo, I was just like, no, I want Black to be the focus of the finish of this episode.
Yeah, I agree.
If you're going to do this, have Cody cut a promo next week.
It reminded me of, and the only reason I'm bringing this up now is because I was writing on my Kenny Omega article, the second half of my Kenny Omega article for the WrestleTalk magazine. Pre-order link for that will be available very soon. And I was going to go through sort of like a lot of the Dynamite results. Do you remember during the TNT tournament last year, where in the first round, Dustin Rhodes in his match with Kip Sabian was just like, oh, by the way, if I lose this match, I'm going to retire.
Yes.
And you and I were like, why? Like,
Say
why? What do you mean? Like, I get that you want to add stakes to something, but like, it doesn't add like good stakes. Like, that's not an important thing because I don't buy it. And like, if Cody is teasing a retirement here, but then just comes back in 7 days, 7 weeks rather. It's not Craig David. If he doesn't come back in like 7 weeks after doing go big Paul White, isn't that just going to like really devalue this? Also, is it not going to completely devalue when he does actually retire? A bit like when The Undertaker retired in the ring and then just came back. Like, it just devalues it after a while.
Yeah, I totally agree. We'll get on with what you guys think very shortly, but I just want to... There's a line in Cody's promo that I feel like hasn't been spoken about that much, and I just want to check I heard it right. So he's saying about how much he loves AEW, and he's sort of hinted towards some backstage disagreements. But regardless of that, they're always my brothers. I love them forever because we started this. And what he was alluding to was how much outside product, like how many outside things he's had to do, like the Go Big show and stuff like that. Whereas the other VPs are all focused on the wrestling show by and large. And then he said he did reference infighting between the VPs, which is the Bucks and Kenny Omega. And this was a report from 3 months ago, I think. Well, it wasn't even a report. It was like a rumor. And Sean Ross Sapp said, I haven't heard anything about this. Probably just a rumor. So what do you think about that? Do you think that's Cody sort of revealing that? Or do you think he's just stoking fires?
But the problem is, if you're stoking the fires, those fires have gone out. So I don't know what that would achieve. If like, are you trying to build something on TV? No, if anything, it felt to me, it was just like, I think there was probably some truth to those rumors. I said on this show, and I've said it in various places, I think it's pretty telling that they haven't been on like in storylines together. Like, just he hasn't been with anything to do with the Elite for pretty much since those rumors started. And he's just been in his own little pocket universe. I think that's more telling than anything else. So yeah, like if he's there to stoke the fires, I would again ask, what's the point? Much like the sort of retirement thing. I actually saw someone in the chat said, do you remember Jeff Hardy did it on Raw a couple of weeks back with Cedric Alexander? I'd actually forgotten about that. Yeah.
That was part when Vince McMahon's new backstage edict was everything needs to have stakes. So he just chucked a career on the line. And we criticized WWE very strongly for that. And this is nowhere near as bad as that. There has been some seeds sown, and this was a good promo. But yeah, it's in the same ballpark. Anyway, let's see what you guys thought. WrestleTalk.com/support. Get your Omega chats in there. We've had plenty. Anthony Velasquez, great episode of Dynamite as usual. Kudos to Cody for letting Black squash him. As for the post-match segment, I didn't mind it because at the end of the day, I'm not going to remember this obvious fake retirement angle.
But that's a problem, Anthony Velasquez. That's a massive problem. If you're just there going well, it's a stupid fake retirement angle, then there's no point in doing it, then is there?
Rory Bollard's got a two-parter. Hey guys, Cody versus Black are all out. Cody loses and has to retire, only leaves for a year, comes back, rejoins the Elite after what he said on the show, and challenges Page for the title at Double or Nothing. Can't do that. Cody is broken, betraying his word, all right, and goes back on his word. Retirement and the world title. You have Page beat Omega at Revolution. Adam is on top of the world the night after. You do the Elite with Cody, beat down Page and the Dark Order, just how Brody did to Cody. Cody holding the title high. Thoughts?
So Cody doing a big heel turn by I've said I'm retiring, but I've actually not retired, and I'm also going back on my other promise.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people just really want Cody to turn heel at this point. But guys, he is literally Captain America. He is the big baby face in this feud.
He's John Cena. I don't think he's turning. Matt Hennessy, I'm glad Black won, but I'm having Brody Lee flashbacks from last year. Cody gets squashed, comes back and wins the feud. I'm fine with the Black and Cody rematch, but Cody doesn't need to get his win back. I love AEW. I hope they don't make the same mistake again. I totally agree. Sorry. Seeing people shocked about Malakai's debut makes me laugh. This was exactly what I expected. After I just recently watched his matches from NXT, his Talk is Jericho podcast episode was brilliant insight. Glad to see AEW letting him loose and embracing it. Bacon Rasher, hi lads. I think Cody wants time to be a dad and focus on being an executive vice president. Crowd seemed to be turning on him last night. I think he needs a break. Also, Ollie, how can you give this 3 out of 5, same as Raw? You bang too much powder. Oh, you covered it in the news, Jam that jam. Different relative scales, folks.
You say that but when we were doing the Raw, we were doing the podcast intro and outro. Ollie said to me that he thought Raw was better than this episode of Dynamite. Word for word, that's what he said.
Not Jackson Schaffer. Hey, icons. Have we been called that before?
We haven't.
I'm calling it now. Black will be the next TNT champion. Have him dominate the lower mid-card until December. Then have him pin Miro on the 24th of December edition of Rampage to win it. Why that episode? If I have to pay, because it's before Christmas, if I have to pay every week until he wins it, that's okay. Hashtag Black Mark. Well, it happened for New Punk Rants, didn't it? So maybe it'll manifest. After this episode, I never want Miro to lose the title.
Oh man, it was so good.
I'll finish all the Malakai Black ones. Evan Buckley. Hey lads, got my ticket for my first ever live wrestling show, AEW Grand Slam. Hot damn. That's the Daniel Bryan reported debut. Here's hoping something mad happens at the show. Also, who would you like to see Black feud with in the lead up to All Out?
Cody Rhodes. I mean, he can't. Obviously, he can't because. But I wonder if it would just be. Does he need to have a little mini feud? I guess he could just come out and just do some squash matches on TV. You don't want to you don't want to rack up too many wins there, do you? Because that messes with your rankings.
John Moxley. I don't know. It's difficult. Who's he got sort of history with?
Moxley's got the Tanahashi feud that he needs to be building for All Out. Juventud Guerrera.
Buddy Murphy. Riley Finlayson. Holy F word, Malakai Black is the coolest thing in wrestling. His entrance was incredible. Sweet Jesus. Patrick Cooper. Hey guys, hope you're having a great Thursday. Remember back before Double or Nothing in 2019, Cody said at some point the business side is going to take over the wrestling side on Chris Van Vliet. So it could be part of that. Stephen Guzman. I think for me, my feelings for the retirement tease will be determined by what comes after. I know you guys don't believe it, but I think Cody will turn heel by next year at some point. And if that helps toward it, then it works. If not, yeah, kind of pants. Black Adam, I like Cody, but I'm tired of him. He does way too much for my liking, from overbooking his matches to his always over-emotional promos. Also, I feel as if there are too many factions. I don't see a real standout contender for any of their top titles.
Well, that was
I
the point
feel that
making.
too.
But that was the point they were making, wasn't it? It was like everything's been building up towards Hangman. Who's left? Like, there's no one sort of left. Like, Christian seems to be the obvious standout. I feel like the Bucks are going to be challenging someone from outside of AEW or All Out for the tag titles. Like, that's what their promo was like, there's no one in AEW. So surely that means there's someone coming in, whether that's, I don't know, GOD or something would be pretty rad.
But them addressing that doesn't make it okay.
No.
I do think it is a bit of a problem.
I'm
not into anyone else challenging for the title other than Page.
We said this last week with the Bucks, with some of the Ultrachats, and then it's just like the tag titles haven't felt like that special since the Bucks won them, and I've actually come to agree with that.
And finally, for now, Patrick Kaniski. Hi guys, last time Cody was in a squash match, he redeemed his loss against Brody Lee. When Black and Cody fights again, I don't want Cody to win. What are your thoughts? P.S. Thank you for the dancing. Made another account just to sub again. Thanks, gents. Thank you, Patrick. And also, who's this? Thank you, Ten Ruza, for becoming a member as well. You think Cody's going to come back and beat Black?
I've said this since day one of the feud. They have a match on TV.
As a joke.
No, I think that's what happened. I think he has the match on TV, comes back for All Out, and he beats him at All Out. It's what Cody does. Like, I don't know why anyone's being surprised by all of this.
Wow.
Also, and I want to add as well, if this is a real retirement, I think they did a pretty piss poor job of it.
Yes. Yeah. Please do hit that subscribe button. You want to know why you should hit that subscribe button? Because we give you what you want. New Punk Rants, prepare yourself because it's time to review last night's AEW Dynamite Homecoming Edition. And we're kicking off with the opening match.
Well, before we get to that, like this episode opened with something really, really special. I don't know if you caught this, but the crowd were chanting AEW, which I'm pretty sure is the first time in the company's history that's ever happened.
They must have heard me. Say it. Interrupting my really good intro. We will start with the third labor of Jericho, Chris Jericho versus Juventud Guerrera. New Punk Rants.
What's up?
You made it happen, my friend.
Man, it's I'm still in shock. I mean, it's like I said, I've seen the match at least 5 times since it's happened. I have gone back and watched some of the older matches, including the Super Brawl match, which is my favorite match of all time. Yeah, I mean, it's nuts, man. Who would have thought?
I guess my first question is, New Punk Rants, when you super chat, you ultra chat, I mean, it actually would have been a super chat back then. It's been so long that for the Juventud Guerrera reference between MJF and Cody Rhodes, did you at any point realistically think, Juventud Guerrera might actually be on this product at some point?
Oh, actually, as soon as Jericho said it, I freaked out. I was like, okay, it's gonna happen, But I was still doubtful because then was it WrestleMania 36 or 35? Whenever it was like the Lucha House Party, they were having a match, and then they compared, I think, Lince Dorado to Juventud Guerrera. And I was like, okay, so it's not going to go nowhere because it's WWE. They kind of kiboshed the whole thing. But then as AEW started to pay off their long-term storylines, I'm like, okay, I think something's going to happen here. And then I follow Juvie. So yeah, I saw that he was going to do an interview with Chris Jericho. So I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. And then he started training and stuff for wrestling. So I'm just like, this is going to happen. And I just took a shot. I mean, like I said, he is my favorite wrestler. Like Sean Ross Sapp has questioned it. You guys have questioned it. He's far and away legitimately my favorite wrestler of all time. Like that's as honest as I can be about it. So.
What did you think of his performance last night? Because he was, just in case people haven't seen it, it was Chris Jericho versus Juvie in a match where Chris Jericho had to win with a move off the top rope, which I thought they dealt with quite inventively.
Yeah, they did a pretty good job. Now I will say there was botches in the first couple minutes. It is a Juvie match. I know, like, I'm realistic. I'm not as like I wasn't expecting a 7-star Omega match. All right, like I knew that there was going to be a little bit of, but I think a lot of it was nerves. You can kind of tell that he was. You can kind of tell he was anxious to be on TNT and all that. Like you can kind of, but once he got it out and he started doing the soul butts and then the attempted Hurricane Rana into the walls, which I thought was great. I mean, I marked out so big for that. And then, leading up to the Juvie driver, which I screamed for. My neighbor actually came outside to like, "Are you okay?" Because like, because seeing that move again it was just like, like 7-year-old me was freaking out last night, and it's just then they just kept ramping it up, and then once they got into a groove, he started doing that what was it, like a flatliner thing that he did where he like put his back leg over and he like twisted Jericho, that move that he hit, that I don't know what it's called. That was pretty cool. And then it just seemed like once they got into a groove, the crowd got into it. And I mean, yeah, just seeing Jericho win, I knew it was going to happen, but just like 7-year-old me was hurt. I was just like, I just wanted,
you wanted this major storyline to be derailed.
Yeah, I just want the world to burn. That's all that is. Yeah. It's sacrifice it for Juvie. Give him the belt. I don't even care at this point.
I'll certainly say this for Juvie. In terms of like, the labels of Jericho that we had, like I really enjoyed the Nick Gage death match last week, and the Juvie thing that we got this week I thought was really fun. The announcement of Wardlow at the end of this did make me go like, oh, that's a bit of a letdown. Because I feel like they've been really ramping this up. Like I was almost sitting there being like, who's the next one after Juvie? It just being Wardlow was like, yeah.
I don't hate this, like I think I wanted Sammy. I think the Sammy, like where either Sammy can't fight back or like, because Sammy's in the top 5, it's either Jericho wins and, screws over Sammy Guevara, or he goes on to face MJF, so it's like that dilemma. So I was kind of in that mind, but I think that is kind of a long-term thing with the Wardlow deal, because if you remember the Cody feud, I think the last match before they faced off was the cage match with Wardlow, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
So I think Wardlow being that 4th guy, it also kind of makes sense given the history with like the Inner Circle and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, maybe I'm kind of reaching for, more of like the thing, like, I'm reaching more than maybe I should, but I mean, there's stuff to reach to. So, I mean, it's at least competent to like, oh, okay. So this is like, he's like the final boss before MJF. And I think, while Wardlow's probably going to have to lose, I think MJF is going to do something to like have him lose. Like, I don't know what, but I think him being there, I think that there's either going to be like, some sort of like, I think either MJF screws up or, Wardlow gets into what MJF is doing and then loses the match somehow. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I think Wardlow being the final boss is just like, as a long-term thing, I think it's, quite competent. Why not? He's kind of like your Brock Lesnar. Why not use him to try to destroy somebody? Now he has to win at some point. I do agree. I know he lost the win against Cody. You don't want him losing all the time. I get that part, but I think that he's strong enough, and he's I think that there's enough there that you can keep his momentum with just how badass he is. I don't know if that counts as a curse or whatever, but
you're fine to say that.
I think it works. I think it works. I think it works enough to where it's like, at least it makes sense. It's not like, oh, here's Joey Janela or something. Like I think it works. I just think it works with the story. That's all.
Yeah, it's logical, but it's not. There were quite a few big surprises at the start. Yeah. On the just before you go, Meltzer was saying on today's Wrestling Observer Radio that he thought Juvie looked incredible. And of all the guys that sort of appeared on this show with Ever Rise Up Later, he was like, they should sign Juvie. Do you think the Juice could be all elite?
Realistically, it pains me to say. I'm probably gonna say no, but if they do, trust me. Every week I'll be like there would be some kind of thing. But I mean, just getting to see him once was incredible. And I mean, I just want to give a big thanks to the WrestleTalk community for putting me over. I appreciate that. Appreciate you guys for sticking with me and not turning on me. I know that there was a little bit of a period there, like, just stop doing it. I totally get it.
We've had a lot of people trying to get gimmicks over before, but me and Ollie were talking about this before we came on to air today. And the reason why this has worked, whereas some of the others haven't, is that there's sincerity behind this. This wasn't someone just being like, I'm just going to super chat in the same thing to try and get a gimmick over. It was genuine. You could feel like this guy loves Juventud Guerrera. And that's why I think it completely got over with everyone.
Yeah. So, I mean, my only hope is that AEW's watching. AEW, like, just get. I know they appreciate long-term storytelling, so they think they'd appreciate this whole saga just as like a oh, that's neat kind of thing. So,
we actually
we
actually have some Ultrachats that are dedicated to you. So I will just quickly read those out. So Charles Berg said, let's be honest, we are not here to talk about Dynamite. Today is New Punk Rants Appreciation Day. He is the one who can manifest a new reality. He proved dreams do come true. He's possibly a time-traveling wizard. New Punk Rants, you're a top-tier babyface. And JJ said, hello, lads, and the great New Punk Rants. Can we get a video package of all the Ultra Chats of New Punk telling us of all the juice was coming to AEW? Question for New Punk Rants. Have you ever met Juventud Guerrera? And if not, can we arrange this? Have a nice day. Jam that jam.
I mean, if there's a way to do it, I am going to be going to the Arthur Ashe show.
Ooh.
So yeah, I'm actually getting the tickets today and getting that planned out. So I mean, if there's a way we can make it happen, I mean, look, I don't know, I might pass out. Who knows? But I mean, who knows? I mean, I didn't think I'd get this far with it. So I mean, I don't know. Hopefully.
Well, thank you very much. The boyhood dream has come true. Chat, let's get a New Punk Rants chant going. We'll speak to you later, New Punk Rants.
Thank you so much for coming
for
on.
everything.
Thank you.
What is he doing there? Oh, he's back. What a guy. So happy for him. What a guy.
That was wonderful.
The chat. Yeah, so I thought Guerrero was rubbish on this. I thought the Jews botched all over the place. I'm kidding, New Punk Rants. I thought he did all right. I thought it was a bit sloppy at the start, but I actually quite enjoyed the match. And you know what? I think I might like the Judas Salvo.
Are you turning around on the Judas effect? Are you?
Something I popped for it. He hit it, and I was like, but it's not off the top rope. And then he hit it off the top rope to win. I was like, I felt something. So after all these years, two, three, that could be happening. So Jericho won that first match. He'll face Wardlow next week, I guess, with MJF in his corner. AEW kind of botched the announcement and said MJF would be the special guest referee, but it seems like he's just at ringside, so it's just a normal match.
That was my question I had, was because MJF said, I'll be at ringside. And then JR said, like, oh man, MJF will be the referee. That's going to really stack the deck against him. And I was like, oh, was that the announcement? So I wrote in my notes, I guess MJF's the ref. But yeah, no, I think it is just he is at ringside, which actually is an easier way to get Wardlow out of the match because you can do some botched interference by MJF to cost the finish. But like MJF being at ringside isn't all that different to what he's currently doing because he's on commentary. He's not that far from the ring.
Yeah, Wardlow laid out both men afterwards. We got the Lucha Bros backstage who turned down Andrade and Chavo's offer, saying they don't work for anyone. Pac was stuck in an airport or something. Then Hangman Page came in on a Dark Order interview and apologized to them for losing their tag title shots last week and said he thinks it's time they should go their separate ways now. He needs to do this by himself. And he walks out, and Evil Uno is like, we've got to respect his wishes.
That which paid off so beautifully in the segment that comes up later on. A real, like, emotional gut punch moment that was.
We then got, by accident, a Dark Elevation match, I believe. Darby Allin, John Moxley, and Eddie Kingston had a really fun house show style match against the former Ever Rise in NXT. I haven't written down their names, actually.
2.0.
Carter. Yeah. And Daniel Garcia. Fun match. The crowd was super into it. I loved how over the paradigm shift and the coffin drop were. Like, it felt like the crowd all stood up when Darby got to the top rope. And it was a great dive outside while one of 2.0 were talking to Sting. But yeah, overall, like, yeah, bit of a just inconsequential fun match.
Absolutely loved this. It was so much fun. Like, me and Laurie, whenever Rise first debuted in NXT, I think they were going by a different name at that point. They certainly had different, like, in-ring names. And the way he, like, it comes down the ring with his hands up in the air, I remember saying to Laurie, I was like, this might be one of the best tag teams in NXT. Like, this tag team is going somewhere because they have got so much charisma behind them. The promo that they cut on social media to announce this, which I think they did on Dark, and the promo that they did before this match, I was like, I love this team. They're not going to be like top title contenders, I don't think, but they're good, solid hands to have as part of this unit. And this might be one of my favorite things on the whole show. I absolutely loved this 6-man. It was so much fun. The crowd was so massively into it. Everyone felt like a superstar coming out. I thought it was terrific.
Yeah, I guess I feel like stuff lacks a bit of storyline progression and top-tier feuding at the moment. And this was a fine, inconsequential, throwaway 6-man. But yeah, I just felt like this time could have been served better elsewhere. Cage versus Starks got a video package, furthering that along. The Super Elite are backstage, being goofy with the basketballs, and the Good Brothers challenged the Dark Order for the Impact Tag Team titles on next week's Dynamite, I believe. Which is a bit like, why? Why are they getting a tag title shot?
Yeah, that is a bit of I think it's the Dark Order might have challenged them or something. They accepted the challenge, but it was like the whole point of last week's match was that they didn't get the tag title shots against the Young Bucks. So now they're just getting a different tag title shot.
Yes. Yeah. Screw you, Impact, eh?
Yeah. I mean, those belts are rubbish, aren't they? There's a worthless belts. This is an AEW show.
Yeah.
Yes. It didn't really work for me. I'm sure the match will be good though, but I don't. He's a bit like, I know some people criticized this yesterday, the index thing on NXT, which is just like the whole stipulation was you either love her or lose her. And so we lost her, but then got the girl anyway. So I was like, well, what was the point of the stipulation? And it kind of is the same thing. It was like, if they're going to get a tag title anyway, what was the point of the stipulation last week?
At least they were different titles and it was a week after, as opposed to the exact thing that was banned from happening immediately after the result. The cool thing here was that I've only identified 2, but someone said that every member of the Elite was dressed like a potential signing. So Kenny Omega had a Cookie Monster t-shirt on. And for half of today, I've been like, why has he got the Cookie Monster? And it wasn't until I posted my news and someone was like, oh, CM Punk. And I was like, God damn it. That's so obvious.
He said that in interviews before as well when people have asked him what's the CM Punk stand for.
He
said for Cookie Monster.
And Doc Gallows was wearing a robe, which he has done in the past, I believe. But of course, Ric Flair was released on Monday. Did you see any others?
Yeah, the Bucks were wearing Hawaiian shirts, which people have said is a reference to Bray Wyatt.
Of course. And the Bucks said that there's no one left to challenge them for the tag titles. And I agree.
Yeah,
bit of a floundering division.
I'm going to go onto the AEW Twitter page now to see who is currently ranked in the top 5 for the tag titles.
For a company that has arguably the most stacked tag division in the world, which we keep putting over, they've not built up another... the only other team they've built up this year is two singles guys, as Moxley and Kingston.
Yeah. Because like Lucha Bros are in their feud with Andrade, FTR and Santana Ortiz are in their deal. Private Party have sort of become just sort of like secondary characters to Matt Hardy, along with
Jurassic
the Hybrid
Express.
Jurassic Express have just sort of been hanging out with Christian Cage, so they haven't really yet. And like Men of the Hour, I guess, we're feuding with Sting and Darby Allin, I guess, are the only other big tag team that you could argue. They've got
Order.
They've got 2 wins, and Dark Order are the only other team that they've been building up, but now they can't get their shot. I'm still scrolling, by the way. I will find it eventually.
Got
it. So we have currently got, you'll love this. So obviously Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson are, they are the tag champs. Ranked number 5, Private Party with a 7-1 records. Ranked number 4 is Jurassic Express, also with 7-1. FTR are ranked 3rd with a 6-0 record. Then it's the Acclaimed with absolutely no controversy behind them at the moment. So there's a team you could definitely put into there. They are ranked 2 with a 14-3 record. Ranked number 1 currently, the Varsity Blondes, Pillman and Garrison.
They had a title match this year. It's okay, that Acclaim stuff won't happen again because Tony Khan is going to learn Final Cut Pro and he's going to edit all of the shows from now on. I've heard.
That's what I've heard as well, yeah. It goes back to that, and again, because I was running about Kenny Omega thing. Remember the December 18th Dynamite with the Dark Order angle at the end of it, and everyone was like, well, that weren't good at all. And then Tony Khan was like, all right, I'm taking over the booking now. And since then, Dynamite was great. Now Tony Khan's like, you can't even edit shows like together without something going wrong. I'll bloody do it, shall I?
Just write some guidelines. After this, we got Christian Cage versus The Blade. That was set up the previous week when The Blade attacked Christian with brass knucks. Pretty standard match. Layla Hirsh and the Bunny brawled backstage early on to set up their match later on. Blade went for the brass knucks. Again, Christian won with a spear. That made him the number 1 contender, that victory, which, good grief, is a lame way to sort of position yourself for a shot at the world title.
We should have seen this coming, really, shouldn't we? Because, like, that's what Christian said. Like, the first thing that Christian did when he came in was have an angle with Kenny Omega over the title. And ever since then, was just like, I'm going to work my way up the rankings to get this spot. And we were sort of like, we were hoodwinked by the red herring of Hangman Page, a storyline that people were really into. Was what we're getting is this storyline that no one is into.
I think it's a red herring. I think this is a week-to-week version of the finish of the Casino Battle Royal, where you all think, oh, Christian's going to get it. And then, like, maybe he goes, you know what, Hangman Page, you were hard done by. Let's have a match, and the winner out of that gets to face Kenny. Otherwise, yeah.
If it's Cage versus Omega, that's not the main event of the show. Which is actually, I think, would be, that doesn't feel like the main event of All Out, which means I think they have a bigger match planned, which could, be a CM Punk match, CM Punk Darby
Punk
Allin
versus Allin, yeah.
Like it's Punk's first match in 7 years. Like that's the actual main event of the pay-per-view, which is kind of good of a recurring for Kenny Omega to not be the main event of the pay-per-view. But yeah, like I think if it is Cage, that doesn't feel like the main event of pay-per-view. It feels like the main event of a TV show, but not the main event of one of your biggest pay-per-views of the year.
It's yeah. There's a lot of bits. It's crazy how like quickly, not that I can sour, but I've been so into AEW throughout July, and then they do this episode, and I'm like, what's happening? Like what? Who's going for the titles? Do you think a lot of stuff has been shaken up because of the Punk Bryan stuff? Plans have been rerouted.
They did say that plans have changed. There's also a lot of people saying that Page probably won't be at All Out because his wife's expecting around that sort of time. So like that might take him off TV. Like when we get to that angle later on, that felt like an injury angle to take Page off of TV.
After this, we got a video package hyping Dax wanting revenge for Cash Wheeler, getting his arm ripped off by that top turnbuckle against Santana and Ortiz. Again, just sort of like sidelining these two teams to a video package. Britt Baker came out for an in-ring promo with Tony Schiavone, and Red Velvet came out and said, I want a shot. And now that they're having a shot next Friday on Rampage.
In all fairness, she was ranked number 3, so I know she certainly was within her rights to challenge that over Ty Conti and Thunder Rosa. But I feel like Thunder Rosa versus Baker is the match you do it all out. Like that's the actual big match that you want to see. This is just a match to kind of like get people to tune in for Rampage, and it's in Pittsburgh, so we get. I think it makes sense to do this. I'm sure it'll be a fine match.
Yeah, it's a fine match, but it's a bit uninspiring,
Well, that's the women's division overall, isn't it? I was thinking about this last night, and I was like, why doesn't the women's division ever feel special in AEW? And someone mentioned it in an Ultra Chat, there's too many factions, which I don't agree with, by the way. I love the fact that everyone is within a faction and has got their own group of friends. I think that makes things feel a bit more like 3D. But women don't have factions. They're either part of men's factions or they're on their own.
Or with Vicky Guerrero.
So I think that's kind of why sometimes the women's division feels like secondary, because everyone is in a faction, whereas all the women are just like, we're on our side, unless we're hanging out with the little lads.
What happened after that? Fuego del Sol was brought in to clean Andrade's shoes by Chavo, and the poor guy got beaten up again. This was kind of a message to the Lucha Bros. I thought Andrade and Chavo looked pretty cool here, actually.
I thought this was really good.
I feel like they're gathering steam for whatever acts they have planned. Then we got the Hangman Page promo. So Page comes out, starts to talk to Tony Schiavone immediately after the Britt Baker promo in the ring with Tony Schiavone, which just I thought that was a bit, repetitive. But then the Super Elite Jocks.
I think it's because this was at the top of the hour. And and Kenny in this storyline has proven to be a big draw, as has Britt in terms of like quarter hours. So they wanted to put this at the top of the first hour.
Then the Super Elite came out, and you had this great visual of them all standing there, and Page is all alone. So really, again, this is like Kenny Omega all over, isn't it? You put so much detail into how a story will look visually. And Kenny says, hey, if you're trying to join the Elite, you no longer fit the bill. Look, we're all champions now. You're a loser. Page slaps him. The Dark Order come down to save Page from this beatdown. And it's John Silver and Alex Reynolds mainly. But then Evil Uno and Stu Grayson no. Like they're the dads of the group. No, you stay back there. He said he doesn't want us. He's got to do this alone. It was heartbreaking.
Amazing. It's so good. Like it was a real, as I mentioned earlier, a proper gut punch as well, because Page is being beaten up. You want to see someone come down and make the save for him. But Uno and Grayson are right. This is what Adam wanted. Adam wanted to be on his own at this point. So he has to take this being on his own. And it was like, I felt, and I've said this many times on the show before, but because he looks like Pete, it hurts me so much more when John Silver either loses or gets told off.
We hate Pete.
We hate Pete, obviously. But like, it was just, I thought this was great. I thought this was awesome.
Yeah. Really, really good. Kaz runs down because, says he's the elite hunter. It's not very
successful
good at it these days.
As well.
But yeah, they closed the segment with knocking out Page with the title as a bit of poetic, charged object. Yeah, and again, another good segment. I can't see them dropping this for a month.
Yeah, well, they are, because Christian Cage literally says in his promo, next week, I'm going to get Elite because he's going to challenge Kenny Omega for the title All Out. Like, so we know who the title contender is, Ollie. They said it many times throughout this show. It's Christian Cage, and this,
which makes me think they're going the other way.
Is this like the CM Punk thing? We're dropping references. We've booked a 25,000 seat building in Chicago, but he's not going to debut at that show. No, I
Chris
think
Hero.
I think this is a way to write him off TV for a bit. That was the impression I got. Maybe it is so we can go away and be ready. Because they did the Bucks knee thing was how they wrote John Moxley off before he went to for Renee to give birth. Could be. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, which is also potentially there.
I think this is one of these things where I don't know what's happening right now. I'm not particularly into the direction because there is no direction. But we trust in AEW. You know, it's not like WWE where you're like, oh God, it's just gonna whatever we think it's gonna be even worse. But here it's like, I trust them to do something good. Dan Lambert was up next, cutting a pre-recorded promo. Good God, he's good. And he said he's going to show up next week, and he's bringing backup.
It would be an MMA guy.
Guys, yeah.
Yeah.
Going to go against Lance Archer. Then we got, actually, genuinely, my favorite thing on the show.
Oh, really?
Miro versus Lee Johnson. And Miro with this star. Like, he is, I think, this presentation of Miro is actually beyond Tank Rusev at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Because there was always a little bit of irony, right, in the Tank Rusev. This is pure, full-on, legit badass. I want to see him all the time. And he comes down, he just dominates Lee Johnson, Dustin Rhodes at ringside. But Lee Johnson just hits this lucky DDT. Miro springs up like he's going to no-sell it, and then walks forward, stumbles, drops to a knee. That's like Ishii selling. That is, I'm a tough guy. I'm still going to come at you, but my body is failing me. My mind is stronger than my body. And that gives Johnson this in to have a brief flurry back, makes Johnson look awesome, but in the end, game over. The whole crowd chanted along for it. Oh, God, Miro is incredible.
I love this iteration of him. It's so good. And this goes back to that whole, so you put the trust into AEW. Because when he came in, his whole shtick with Kip Sabian about, hey, do you know what I like? Street Fighter. Didn't really work. It didn't really connect with a lot of people. I think a lot of people were a bit sort of sour on it. But this is a much better version of Miro. This is really, really good. That is AEW seeing something didn't work and pivoting to something else. And I loved this. And it was really good. That staggering moment was so good. There was even moments, and they would put this over really well on commentary, when Johnson was doing his dives, he did this big trio of dives. Miro caught him on the last dive, but he still went down with him. And they were like, he caught him, but he couldn't stop the momentum going against it. So Miro was still the all-powerful man, but that momentum just slightly overtook him. It wasn't like he just got caught with a lucky move. And then eventually he was like, oh, I'm sick of this selling now. And it was just the big match kick and the game over. Yeah, absolutely loved it.
Bit like how Brock Lesnar will do that little bit of selling, and it just means all the more for it. This is peak Miro. This is exactly what we all thought he could be to the 100% version. I'm so happy for the guy. Did you see what Lana tweeted?
I didn't know.
It was a picture of her doing the splits on a kitchen counter with a mixing bowl, and the caption said, "Just making brownies for my hubby." He's a lucky guy. He's a lucky guy.
That double-jointed wife he was talking about. Producer Rich has got some feedback for you here, Ollie. Good God, he's good. Heartbreaking. Beyond Tank Rusev at WrestleMania. Still only 3 out of 5, though.
Yeah. When you cherry pick your quotes, Rich, what about all the bits where I said I'm confused about who's challenging for what? I don't feel like there's any legit challenges apart from the champions. What are they doing with Christian? He's not into that. Oh, he sent us a private message now. Oh, I love you. Kiss, kiss. That's when we got the Christian Cage talking about being the number one contender to Tony backstage, Marvez, can't remember.
Tony Schiavone.
He said he'll challenge the Elite next week. Really, we got the Bunny versus Layla Hirsh. The best friends were in Layla Hirsch's corner. This was to become the number one contender for the NWA Women's Championship, which is currently held by Camille, who is very tall, and she was at ringside. Okay, match. This did a better job building up the NWA Women's title than they put in months into the AWs.
Yeah, because this match is taking place at Empower, which I think is next month, I think, or it might be this month. But the match was fine. I'm more into the bunny than I am Layla Hirsh, I think. Like, I thought the bunny looked really good in this. And I was kind of, I didn't ever think she was going to win because I think what they wanted was that visual at the end of this. Because Layla Hirsh is about 4'2". So when she gets in the ring and Camille, who I think is 8 foot tall, like they stand up there and Layla's like looking directly, like cranking her neck. Like she sat front row of a movie theater and now can't actually see the screen, like cranking her neck all the way up to see it. I'm sure that match will also be fine. I like Layla Hirsh. It's just, I thought the bunny was, I feel like the bunny doesn't get enough in AEW. That would be my critique.
I'm the opposite. I really like Layla Hirsh. I like the way she wrestles. And yeah, I liked it. And then we just got a Jade Cargill promo with what's his name? Mark Sterling. Yeah, Mark Sterling, who said that the Jade brand is coming back. I'm like, cool. Great use of that momentum from the Shaq match.
Well, she's racking up wins on Dark and Dark Elevation,
Is she, though? Has she been on those? Because it made it sound like she hasn't been.
No, I think she had a match on Dark Elevation last week or so because people were talking about her amazing outfit on it. You should go on Twitter more.
No, I will not go on Twitter more. I hate it. Getting Max Caster cancelled like that, you goddamn Twitter.
Rightly so. I had a tweet go semi-viral the other day over the Ronda Rousey thing. I put up a quote from Clerks, the Randall Graves quote, which is this job would be great one for the effing customers. With an image that'd be like Ronda Rousey be like, did really well on Twitter. That doesn't often happen for me. It was like nearly 4,000 likes. I was really impressed.
I've also got some good news before we get into the ratings. I don't know if everyone's aware of the UK situation at the moment, but there's a big cladding scandal. And my flat has cladding on, which means that we can't really sell or get a mortgage or anything. And it looks like we're going to have to get a new roof. And I asked the contractors how much it's going to cost to get the new roof put in. And they said, it's on the house.
I feel like you told that much better to me and Rich the other day.
I haven't told that to you before. So I gave it a 3 out of 5. I think I stand by that, by AEW standards.
Well, here's the thing, Ollie, is that I also gave it 3 out of 5, but I gave Raw 1 out of 5. That's the difference, is because you said that Raw was a better show. That's legit what you said to me at the start of this. You said that you enjoyed Raw more.
I was joking.
So, like, for me, like this was a bang average episode of AEW. So yeah, I would have also given it 3 out of 5. And pretty much all of those stars are going on the Hangman Page, Elite stuff, and that 6-man tag, which I thoroughly enjoyed.
Yeah. Well, let's get into our Patreon shout-outs before we get into the rest of your Omega chats. But actually, quick. Just, I was talking to one of the contractors, actually, because his brother owns an indoor boat sale shop. So, you buy the boats, it's like a car showroom. You walk around inside, I want that boat. And you take it out and, you do the thing. Sailboats as well. So you've got the big masts. And I said, how are sales? Buying stuff. He says, they're through the roof. Sales are through the roof. Thank you to our wonderful $25 a month or more pledge hammers on Patreon. There's never been a better time to join. Fantastic, Mr. Good Old Fox.
Oh, no, it's not a clap, is it? He's no jackass, Dano.
No one names their kid this anymore. Larry.
The roller coaster, Robert Acosta.
We'll always mark out for Ollie, especially his jokes. Landrum.
WrestleTalk's personal ring announcer, Rodrigo Benitez.
The Vision, Adonis.
Ryan B. Bad.
Shield Maiden, the Zornice.
Chris, the Cypriot Sensation Petro.
His contract is expiring soon. Everyone forgot about it in the NXT contract reviewing department. Ronald Coleman, baby!
And lastly, for this Hall of Fame class on August 5th, 2021, he can last Sean Furlonger than you in the ring. Thank you all so much. Please do head on over to patreon.com/WrestleTalk. There's never Patreon been a better time to be a better pledge hammer. So head on over there and sign up, because we currently got the poll running for WrestleTalk Extra, Ollie Davis, which is the monthly show that you and I do where we review classic pay-per-views for about 3 to 4 hours. They tend to run. Usually about the same length that a pay-per-view runs for, because we're just as bad as WWE and WrestleMania at times. Currently winning this month's poll is SummerSlam 2002, which is a show that you thought we'd already done, but we haven't. And I'm hoping that's 29% of the vote. But coming in at a hot second, WCW New Blood Rising, which is the follow-on pay-per-view from Bash at the Beach, which we did last time.
Maybe that has the explanation of what Scott Steiner was doing in the hallway.
I mean, maybe.
I need to know. Right, we've got a lot of Omega chats. Thank you all, everybody. Let's go through these. Matt Hennessy, I hope the Cage title match is a swerve or done on TV. If AEW go with Cage over Page for All Out, it would be a WWE move on AEW's part, going for the established instead of what's red hot. I like Cage, but if he fights Omega at All Out, I can see fans turning on the match.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. But as I said, I don't think it's going to be the main event. But it's just, I made a joke about it earlier. It's not hot at the moment. Maybe they can do something for the rest of August to ramp up the heat, but you're never going to reach that Hangman Page heat.
Matt Hennessy again. I want Page to beat Kenny at All Out. All Out is where Page has always failed. He lost out on being AEW first champion at the first All Out, and last year he lost the tag belt and was kicked from the Elite. He can finally redeem himself by beating Kenny to become AEW World Heavyweight Champion. That's not what the belt's called, is it? It's the world champion.
Yeah, it is world champion.
Jose Bautista. What do you guys think of Hangman challenging Christian Cage for his title shot? Hangman refuses to accept his failure and needs to redeem himself. Cage needing to outwork everyone. He accepts. That sets up the main event for August 20th Rampage. I don't know if I like that, but that's the best thing I can think of.
Yeah, Page has got to because I don't know, man, because Christian's whole deal has been outwork everyone, and he has outworked everyone to climb his way up the rankings. If Page doesn't be like,
on Dark,
well, now, but me, no, all of it's been on Dynamite, in all fairness to Christian. It's all been on Dynamite. If then Page comes out and be like, no, but me, though, it doesn't really feel like a hero's journey. He's actually just stopped a different hero.
Jaden Jones, donating before the show, but wanted to ask if anyone thinks that Kenny's Cookie Monster shirt and referencing it, saying C stands for champion, this could be another subtle wink at the Punk news, could be reaching though, thanks, jam that jam. I think he also quoted a Cult of Personality line, like look in my eyes or something.
Yeah, they're doing it to work everyone.
Keith Lloyd, more devastating breakup, Hangman and the Dark Order, or Ollie and Megan. I'm not religious, but I'm all in on God's favourite champion. Keep up the great work, lads, and keep Ollie dancing. Not a real doctor in training. Did you see Hangman leave a disc on the desk in the Dark Order segment? I wonder what's on that. Also, I forget who suggested it, but seeing Daniel Garcia last night, I'm totally down for Brian setting up the Danielson dojo on his debut and recruiting him. I like that. No, I didn't see a disc.
I did not, no.
Spider65. I hope Kenny versus Cage will be on the first Rampage because Britt versus Red Velvet isn't enough. As I watched Cody's promo, I thought Ollie will enjoy this and Luke will grow. I've never seen... Opposite. I've never seen a Tommy End match before and I loved it. Wow, what a treat. You should go back and watch some of the NXT stuff. Danny Torkel, new Pledge Hammer, and first-time Omega Chatter. Thank you. Thank you to all WrestleTalk for helping me get through these past months after my dad's death. What do you think about Hangman getting his title match at Grand Slam with their biggest crowd ever in New York City? Well, I think now the Chicago Rampage has overtaken that. But that, yeah, could be. You need a big match for that show. Yeah.
And they'll want to put on a big match for it. Yeah.
Sari saw a lot of people after the Dark Order and Hangman breakup yesterday saying again that Bray should come and become the new leader of Dark Order. Am I the only one who doesn't want that to happen at all? Just wouldn't feel right for me, but I trust AEW. And -1, smiley face.
I mean, the Dark Order themselves make this joke because it's what everyone says as soon as someone leaves WWE. Oh, they could be, and they've got something spooky about them. Oh, they could be the leader of the Dark Order. The Dark Order aren't a spooky bunch of lads anymore. They're a goofy bunch of lads. Their leader is a child. And yeah, -1 is the leader of the Dark Order.
Sergio Martinez. They could do Christian versus Omega at the New York show coming up and then have Hangman at All Out. See, the problem is All Out is before then.
Yeah, the New York show isn't until like the end of September.
But with a stipulation added, like if Hangman loses, he leaves AEW or the Dark Order will have to disband. What do you guys think?
I don't think you need a stipulation. I don't think you need a stipulation on the match. It's hot enough as it is. You don't need bells and whistles around it.
But how does Page get that match?
Well, I don't think Page is getting the match at All Out. Page is probably going to have his match at Full Gear.
Tenduigi. I didn't want to Omega chat, but if your friend is getting jumped and you don't help them just because they needed space, you're a bad friend. The but respect his wishes argument is utter bull S-word. Also, I thought the Christian match was for Rampage. I didn't think he announced what it would be or whether it would be a match.
Yeah, he just said that he will see the Elite next week. Well, will probably be to announce his match. What do you make of the other thing though about them? Because I really liked the Dark Order thing because I thought it's both sides of the argument. John Silver and Alex Reynolds wanted to help their friends. Uno and Grayson were like, but we should respect their wishes. You are like, it's both sides of what you were saying there as being represented.
I think in real world, yes. Help your friend to stop them getting beaten up, no matter what they say. But in superhero wrestling, well, that's a nice way to tell a moral struggle. I thought it was very well done.
The other thing as well is, we said this with the Bucks versus Omega and Page at Revolution. The great thing about that storyline is you could see it from everyone's point of view. Like everyone had their own issues with each other and everyone had legitimate reasons. And that's why the storyline worked here. And it's the same, Tendu, you can see it from Reynolds and Silver's point of view. Other people might see it from Uno and Grayson's point of view. Like that's kind of what, it's good conflict.
Spider 65. Didn't want to get the wrong Spider. In the beginning of Hangman's promo, when the Elite comes out, he says, "I'm glad you're here. There's something I needed to say to you." I thought, oh my God, he's going to apologize. Did anyone else think this? AEW has made me excited for a possible apology. Yeah, I don't know what he was going to say.
Probably apologize to the audience for letting them down. Because he did let them down.
Oh, for the audience. Yeah.
Phantom FTW said, between Miro, Malakai 2.0 and all these Easter eggs in the Backstage Elite segment, I think we could have called this episode, well, Vince, let's have a look at what you could have won. Jack Nichols, what a fantastic show. AEW is excellent and so are you guys. I had a dream where I wrote this letter. Dear Vince, Crown Jewel 2021, HBK versus MDK, blood money death match. Book it, you coward.
Oof.
Dead Punk 1905. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed Dynamite. Have to work today, so no Thursday morning AEW for me. Watching it in bits on my phone. Was Hangman going to apologize to the Bucks? If Kingston is over now, what will the pops be like if Moxley were to turn on Eddie?
Oh wow, yeah, I don't want that to happen for a while, but I think a babyface Eddie heel Mox, great idea down the line. No, I think Hangman was going to apologize to the audience.
Chris Wagstaff, the presentation of Miro and Black last night was superb. Can Miro hold the belt forever? Also, Christian surely to challenge Omega in the main event of First Dance. Punk to come out afterwards and face Omega to close the show. So here's the thing I would say on that is we recently reviewed Backlash 2000, which had the big Austin come. There was Austin's first show after the Survivor Series injury angle took him out, right? He wasn't ready to come back, but they needed to pop the buy rates. They brought Austin back early for this one-off thing. During that main event, because the audience were waiting for Austin to come out, a lot of them are there just cranking their heads and looking down the entrance ramp, not focusing on the match in ring, just waiting for the thing, waiting for Austin to come out, right? And it is a nuclear pop when Austin comes out. It's one of my favorite moments ever, but it comes at a bit of a detriment to the match. However, so for me, if you're going to do this thing at Chicago, like he almost has to open the show, because otherwise all you're going to have is people uninterested in 2 hours of a TV show, or actually the 1 hour of a TV show, waiting for Punk to come out.
I don't know, man.
Does it build anticipation? Am I looking at it from the wrong side of the coin?
You've definitely got an argument, but I don't think it's clear cut.
No, not at all. Portuguese Mr. Davis. Hello, boys. It's a fine show by AEW standards. Great wrestling. Apart from the Page Elite storyline and Bucks Rhodes match at the post angle, feels like this was somewhat a missable show. Feel free to disagree with me. Low 4 out of 5. Love you, Davis and Luke. Nemo Toad. Raw and AEW getting the same rating. Ollie sucking up the Khan coin. The Nick Khan coin. Nichols. I like Nichols. Another entertaining episode. Needs more Camille towering over everyone. She and Thunder Rosa bringing more eyes to NWA than Nick Aldis has. Sorry, Darby with Eddie and Mox just makes so much sense to me after the respect endorsement Mox gave to Darby after their AEW title match last year. I don't know if I needed more with those three together, but yes, please. I'll never stop laughing at the suicide dive. It's just perfect. Alpaca Nation putting on a tinfoil hat here. Between Gallows Robes, Cody doing the woo before the figure four, and Hangman going on his own, leads me to him being managed by Ric Flair to get him back in the title picture. R.I.P. Fuego again. Jam that jam.
I don't think Page needs Flair as a manager. The story's him going alone.
This is a good fun one here from Buzz. No CM Punk or Bray Wyatt chants I heard during this show, which says something about the booking of AEW. Yeah, this crowd were massively into this show.
Really,
the only thing they went into was the Bunny versus legit Layla Hirsh. Everything else they were super hot for. James Hanley told my wife that CM Punk will debut in Pittsburgh when we are there because that's where he had his last official match. She said something about denial, and I had to correct her by saying, no, that name is Daniel Bryan. I'm talking about CM Punk.
Very good, James. You know, if you chat enough, like New Punk Rants did, could happen.
Ayo Bear 138 said Miro's ability to put over up-and-coming talent while maintaining his dominant aura is noteworthy. He is special. That was a blueprint of using in-ring work to build new stars. I'm banging all the Miro powder. Love you guys. Not Jackson Schaffer says, hey again, icons. Just want to clarify. I agree Miro is incredible, and this fantasy booking is winning it back and turning it babyface. Have Black hold the title until April, and then Miro pin him on Good Friday's Rampage, just so JR can shout, he is risen again. Peter Mullins, while we're manifesting stuff, I'm calling it now. Tony Khan to come out saying a former world champion is coming to AEW, only for Vince to turn up and restart the $1 million giveaway. Calls me, and I send in all the super chats asking to do it again. Alpaca Nation would love to see Switchblade or Chris Bay or God challenge the Young Bucks for the tag titles to further the Bullet Club Elite storyline.
I saw a few people say care about Impact.
I would disagree on that one. I've seen a few people say that they would love Switchblade to be the challenger for All Out, which I think is also pretty rad. Title for title as well. James Hanley, I would like to defend Ollie's different scales for Raw and Dynamite.
Finally.
Having to grade Raw is a lot like having to grade feces that you can study it all you want, but at the end of the day, you're looking at a big pile of crap. The grade is just arbitrary. That last line there is the most important thing you said there, James. The grade is arbitrary. Everything we say, like the score at the end is an arbitrary number. Wrestling Talk sign guy, was it just me, or was the guy in the front row with the million signs really distracting? Most of them were too long to even read, and he didn't even seem to care about the show. I'd like to apologize on behalf of sign guys everywhere.
I didn't mind. Did you see one of them? I paused it to read it because it was long, you're right. But it was like, Dave Meltzer, and Brian Alvarez and other wrestling journalists aren't paid by Nick Khan to say nice things about them. Reading as your friend. But it was like all in one...
That's great. Matthew McFadden, feel like the more subtle fourth labor of Jericho would be against Sammy, where he has to win by knockout like a last man standing. Would be great for the emotional moment. Also, Malakai's entrance was perfection. Donkey Kong Country returns. I'm not sure if those bits. DKC returns. Perhaps it's because the Good Brothers were pinned in the 10-man tag. Oh, as to why the Dark Order are getting their shot against the Good Brothers.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay.
Because I believe it was Grayson that got the pin as well. That's very good. Well done. Yep, take that back.
I take everything back. That makes total sense now.
Yeah, well done. Thank you very much for pointing that out. Perhaps that's why they're putting the titles on the line. Plus, it's Impact making those matches. Different philosophies for matchmaking, I guess. Shrugs. Yeah, I think you had it right there. The legit underboss. So Stephen Larson make a joke that Dynamite is two separate shows. The main show and Cody Island. Also, do you not worry that Tony Khan is going to burn himself out with all the jobs? Jaguars, Fulham, his own personal company, AEW.
Yeah, the last thing he needs to be doing is editing the 10 hours of YouTube wrestling content that AEW also make. He's got Rampage starting next week.
Do you know what AEW doesn't need? 4 shows a week. It doesn't need to have 4 shows a week, guys. Ten Ruser, hey guys, happy to become a member today. With AEW going to Pittsburgh next week, do you think we'll see Kurt Angle show up? So Rampage will be on Fight TV here in Australia. I think it is Rampage is going to be on Fight, I believe.
Kurt says no. He's been asked a lot in interviews recently.
Brian Cage kept saying that he hadn't signed with AEW either. And in fact, it's just those wrestling journalists making up stories again. Peter Mullins, who do you think? It's like Zelina Vega. God, all those wrestling journalists writing up stories saying she was returning to WWE. They were hurting her career. Then she went. Peter Mullins, do you think Dan Lambert's backup? Who do you think is Dan Lambert's backup for facing Lance Archer? As an MMA fan, my group of wrestling lads were making me run down American top team fighters. My top pick, Bellator's King Mo, which could set up a fight with Hager, or Filthy Tom Lawler, now of NJPW.
I am not au fait with any MMA stuff. Conor McGregor, I don't know, but I think, like a sort of showcase match with someone like a Hager going into All Out would be a really smart play on AEW's part.
Problem is, Hager's within a circle. It'd be weird for him to just start hanging out with a different group.
Oh, no, but like a match against them? Oh, but I guess the match will be against Lance Archer, so that's silly. Yeah.
Fletcher Jackson, Jay White is booked for Warrior Wrestling on the 21st, the day after Rampage in Chicago. I think Christian will be before that. Then Jay White challenges Kenny for All Out, maybe even puts the Never Openweight title on the line to Jam That Jam, which is what we were just saying a little bit earlier.
That would be cool. Dan Lin, hey guys, what does Jam That Jam mean? I've followed the channel for years, but I'm still unsure. Haha. So on Quizzlemania, there's a round where you've got to guess the wrestler by their tattoo. And there was one of Hulk Hogan's arm tattoo that says, I am that I am. And Andy Datson thought it said jam that jam. And then we've done everything about that since. Butterwump. Butterwump. Hey, Luke and Ollie and all of the WrestleTalk team. Now that you're returning to the office, I want to thank you all for the entertainment during the COVID era. Guess now it's the best time for becoming a pledge hammer. Damn you, Ollie, and your dancing. Yes, it sure is. We should do a video package like they did for Daily's Place. All the moments that happened in the remote era. Peter Mullins. Ollie, last Christmas, I bought a fake Christmas tree from the tree shop next to the indoor boat shop, and the guy behind the counter said, are you going to put it up yourself? I told him, don't be disgusting. I'm going to put it in the living room. Took me a while. Oh my god!
Oh, what a silly show.
Please help, Chris Petru says, please help support WrestleTalk Podcast by giving this channel a subscribe. Thank you, Chris, for doing our job for us. And finally, for now, Daniel Mark, long-time listener, first-time chatter, just wanted to say big love from Australia. This is what they do on the Olympics. They do that. They do that a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you. Right. Thank you. We can do a combined one.
Oh, no. Oh, look
Does
at
it
that.
look like a heart?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Cool. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We went a bit long
Daniel Baker has said Hangman was going to apologize to the Bucks, and the disc may reveal that it was Kenny who convinced him to cost the Bucks against FTR. And Not a Real Doctor in Training said, just sent you screenshots showing the discs on Twitter. Don't know if it's anything worth you sharing them. Also, I'm glad to see you agree with me about the Bucks making the tag titles feel less important.
No one really drew attention to the discs on the show, in reviews.
That's what AEW do, don't they? They drop these little things in.
We'll have a look into that. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us here today. Go over to WrestleTalk as well. Watch my video that went up earlier, going more into Cody's retirement stuff. And also, give this channel a subscribe. We've got so much coming up, particularly the week commencing the 16th. It's the streamiest party of the summer.
Indeed, yeah. We are doing 11 streams in 7 days, kicking off with the 50K celebration day on August 16th, watching all of the Attitude Era WrestleManias, that is 14 through to 17, back to back in the office together again. That starts at 10 a.m. British summer time, which we're very, very excited about.
Yeah, so subscribe, enable notifications so you know that when it goes live first. Jam that jam.
Fist me, bro. Jam that flipping jam. Oh, yeah, no, nice. Heart me, bro. Heart me. I can't do it.
Yeah, you can.
Form like Voltron.